It continues and has been happening for quite some time. Since 2017, we've had a 771% increase in human trafficking in the Southern California coastal region. Since 2021, we've had 23 lives lost at sea. This is not necessarily people trying to find a better life. This is part of a transnational criminal organization effort to smuggle people into the United States. These people are often labor trafficked and sex trafficked when they arrive. Again, it was a tragedy. We offer our condolences, and I'd offer it to Chief Garland for some words.
Can you identify yourself first?
Yes.
Thank you.
I'm Captain James Spittler, Sector Commander for Coast Guard San Diego.
James Gartland, Lifeguard Chief for the City of San Diego and San Diego Fire Rescue Department. So around 11:30, 12 o'clock last night, we had a 911 call from a Spanish speaker that contacted the dispatch center of the SDPD. That person reported that there were approximately 15 people and 8 people on 2 vessels that had overturned at Torrey Pines City Beach in San Diego, down at Black's Beach. When lifeguards arrived on scene, we arrived in rescue mode. We did the best we could to recover people from the water, try and find survivors. And the lifeguards, after about an hour of searching and recovering bodies, we were in recovery mode for about 5 hours after that. The access to the area was very difficult due to the tide and the coastal cliff there. So lifeguards worked to technically extricate all of the victims there. We had San Diego Fire Rescue Department had 3 ambulances, a truck, an engine, and a full cast. The Unified Command included CBP, Customs and Border Patrol, the Air Marine Operations, U.S. Coast Guard, state lifeguards, San Diego Police Department, UCSD Police Department, and obviously San Diego lifeguards. So we worked to recover those, and my condolences to the family and those smuggling. This is the one of the worst maritime smuggling tragedies that I can think of in California, certainly here in the city of San Diego. So local rescuers, state rescuers, law enforcement, and our federal partners, nobody encountered any survivors during this time. But the timing was of all the assets getting down there. People may have left the beach. We're not sure.
So how was there one boat that made it to the shore, but there was no survivors? Do you have any understanding of, was it not turned over?
When we arrived on scene, both vessels were capsized and inside the shoreline. That area is a very hazardous area, even in the daytime. It has a series of sandbars and inshore rip currents. So you could think that you could land in some sand or get to waist-high, knee-high water and think that you're safe and be able to exit the water, but there's long inshore holes. So if you step into those holes, those rip currents will pull you along the shore and then back out to sea.
How was the surf conditions?
The surf conditions weren't large. It was probably a 3-foot swell.
So the 911 Spanish speaker that called, were they in the boat or in the water, or we don't know, or are they?
We're not clear. They just gave the information that the vessels were capsized and how many people were down there.
Okay, that's where I'm going to end it with the paramedics and the lifeguard issue here. I'm going to now go over and give you the update from San Diego News 8 that's got a more clear reporter on shore that's going to talk to you about this. Hold on a second, I've got to redo this here.
With sky-high housing prices, homeowners are looking to create extra living space for extended family or renters. Let Marical Design and
Sorry, I've got to play this commercial out.
After 2 ponga boats capsized off the coast of Black's Beach, and the search for survivors continues tonight with both the Coast Guard and lifeguards knowing there are more people missing. Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Steve Price.
And I'm Kirsten Holmes. The ponga boats capsized near Black's Beach around 11:30 last night. Officials say fog made it difficult for rescue teams to operate in an already dangerous area, even under clearer conditions. CBS 8's Ariana Cohen joins us live from the scene with more information from rescue crews.
Now this reporter, is on the top of the cliffs from the San Diego glider port just above Black's Beach. These cliffs are about 200 or 300 feet higher than the beach below them.
Yes, I've spent all day out here. A search and rescue helicopter and boats were out here all afternoon searching for any survivors. Officials say 8 people were found dead after 2 ponga boats capsized overnight.
One of the worst maritime smuggling tragedies.
What you're seeing here is heavy rain from that storm that's off the coast of California right now. We're going to be talking more about that in just a minute.
That I can think of in California, certainly here in the city of San Diego.
Lifeguards say the 911 call came in around midnight. One of the victims reporting a horrific accident. 2 ponga boats overturned with possibly as many as 23 people in the water. The first SDFD lifeguard unit to get to the scene could not access the beach at first because of the high tide. So crews had to wait before heading further north, wading through knee and waist deep waters. After a couple 100 yards, lifeguards on the beach reached dry sand and then began to find lifeless bodies, life jackets, and fuel barrels. Officials say both boats capsized.
When lifeguards arrived on scene, we arrived in rescue mode. We did the best we could to recover people from the water, try and find survivors. And the lifeguards, after about an hour of searching and recovering bodies, we were in recovery mode for about 5 hours after that.
Officials do not know what exactly caused the boats to capsize, but the weather conditions could have something to do with it.
It was the fog, surf conditions, pitch black down there. There's no lighting from the coast down there. So a very hazardous area even in the daytime. It has a series of sandbars.
Okay, what you just saw there was Scripps Institute Pier. Scripps Institute is an oceanographic institute, basically a university, part of the University of California. And they have a pier just south of Black's Beach. Over at that area, at the pier, it is considered La Jolla. North of there is Black's Beach, and north of Black's Beach is Torrey Pines.
Several people are dead tonight after 2 ponga boats capsized off the coast of Black's Beach, and the search for survivors continues tonight with both the Coast Guard and lifeguards knowing there are more people missing.
We did the best we could to recover people from the water, try and find survivors. And the lifeguards, after about an hour of searching and recovering bodies, we were in recovery mode for about 5 hours after that.
Officials do not know what exactly caused the boats to capsize, but the weather conditions could have something to do with it.
It was the fog, surf conditions, pitch black down there. There's no lighting from the coast down there. So a very hazardous area even in the daytime. It has a series of sandbars and inshore rip currents.
The Coast Guard says they are seeing this more and more.
Since 2017, we've had a 771% increase in human trafficking in the Southern California coastal region. Since 2021, we've had 23 lives lost at sea. This is not necessarily people trying to find a better life. This is part of a transnational criminal organization effort to smuggle people into the United States. These people are often labor trafficked and sex trafficked when they arrive.
I hiked down to Black's Beach and talked to several beachgoers while search and rescue crews continued their recovery efforts up high and down low Sunday afternoon.
It came right over us. Yeah, while we were in the water. I'm definitely sad and scared, especially for those families. It's really scary to lose someone this close to home.
This is a developing story. Officials are still looking into how many people were involved in this deadly incident. We will post the latest information on CBS8.com. Reporting live from Black's Beach, I'm Ariana Cohen for CBS 8.
Okay, that's the story from San Diego. I've seen a video earlier today, about an hour and a half worth of video, of a gentleman that took his camera down there at Black's Beach, and it was very dangerous down there even at that time. Again, Black's Beach is one dangerous because of the rip currents and the high tides at Black's Beach. Black's Beach is a famous surf beach because it has normally higher breakers than the rest of San Diego coast. So we see a lot of surfers up and down the beach along Black's Beach and up towards Torrey Pines as well. Some surfers stay in La Jolla, just south of Black's Beach. Black's Beach is also a clothing optional beach, and most of the people that go there are done there for that reason. What has happened at Black's Beach today? We saw those two Ponga boats, both of them overturned this morning. One boat had at least 15 people in it. At least. It may have had as many as 20. One had 11 overturned. There are still 8 people that are unaccounted for. So 8 people probably drowned in the surf there, probably being swept out to sea. As the as the Coast Guard captain said, this has nothing, absolutely nothing to do with unlawful migration. This has everything to do with the criminal element. I have posted several videos in the last 24 hours from a gentleman that's done extensive reporting on the immigration issue along the border. These people that go up here don't want to be caught. Usually it's because they are put to work and forced to work, or they're forced into sex trafficking. They come up here to try to make some money. Okay? They are forced up here by the criminal element south of the border. That's what happens. They pay their captors in Mexico anywhere from $1,500 to $5,000 to come into the United States. They're put on these boats, and they usually have someone waiting for them. But I think what was done was the people on these boats misjudged where they were. And so when they got into trouble, someone on one of the boats that may have already gotten to shore or not called the San Diego Police 911 number. That's what happened. That's how San Diego got notified of it. And as a result, San Diego City was there, San Diego University Police were there, San Diego Fire was there, the paramedics and the lifeguard teams were there. Department of Defense police were also on call for that in case they needed more workers, more people there. That's what happened in San Diego today. We will probably bring you another story tomorrow evening about the outcome of what happened today. It was definitely a tragedy, a very deep, long tragedy. People died. People died that were being trafficked. Incredible. Anyway, not just that. It's not just in San Diego. California is under siege by a storm right now. This storm has been ongoing for weeks now, and it's not over until at least another 2 weeks. There's a big, huge Pineapple Express coming into the west coast of California. California, Oregon, and Washington are literally under siege from these storms. I'm going to play this video for you to give you a better idea of what's going on if you haven't already noticed.
Northern and central California are bearing the brunt of this storm. Rivers are overflowing their banks, roads have been washed out, and residents are being rescued after being trapped by the floodwaters. At least 2 people have died as a direct result of the storm. 25 million people are under flood alerts. Thousands more are without power tonight.
A state of emergency now in effect in 34 California counties because of the relentless rain and snow. Samantha Cortese live in our news center. She's got a look at the damage all across the state. Samantha?
From hungry cows to Tahoe avalanches to rushing rivers, we're seeing widespread impacts of this storm all throughout our state. In Santa Cruz County, an entire Watsonville neighborhood flooded Friday. Homes along a creek just couldn't handle the rain.
We got our garage flooded. A lot of mud came inside. We helped out the neighbors. All the street was very bad.
Sandbags and tarps didn't do much to stop this rushing water. The soil, already saturated, left nowhere for this rainwater to go.
Everything right here in front of the house, the whole street was flooded. Like there's at least a foot of water.
And look at this drone video from Sokol, a quaint town near Monterey Bay. The town's main street washed away by a creek. Officials say people are stranded. The collapse cut off access for people in nearby homes. You see heavy machinery working to clear debris and chunks of the road. And look at Highway 50 into Tahoe. It's a beautiful sight, but with all this rain, could turn dangerous fast. Caltrans worked in the dark overnight to clear the road following an avalanche. And there are concerns about the snow load, crushing homes and other buildings in Tahoe. Another foot of snow at least is expected as this storm moves on through. In Humboldt County, a dire situation for herds of cattle. Operation Hay Drop is underway. Several feet of deep snow and downed trees blocked ranchers from reaching their cows. CAL FIRE and the Coast Guard loaded up their helicopters and dropped hay into remote mountain fields populated by hungry cattle.
We won't really know until there's snow melt how many actual head has died off due to these conditions. But I know this for certain, if we don't act, there's gonna be way more that die, and it'll be a catastrophe for our county.
In Kernville near Lake Isabella, evacuations are underway. Friday stormwater is overflowing the Kern River. It rose 17 feet, breaking a 50-year record. And this sounds a little oxymoronic, but in this record rainfall, Cal Waters is asking Kern County to conserve water. A water main is attached to a bridge, and if that bridge gets damaged, service may be stopped or interrupted. In News Center, Samantha Cortese, KTLA 5 News.
That was a report from KTLA 5.
Are you a North Carolina homeowner who is sick and tired of paying their electric bill every month?
Sorry about that. That was KTLA 5 in Los Angeles reporting on that storm and what has been going on. It's unfortunate. It's horrible what's going on in California. And it's not just California, ladies and gentlemen. It's up and down the entire West Coast. And what you need to know is all those storms that are coming across are headed east. So everybody that isn't getting inundated right now will soon be inundated as that storm moves east. In fact, Idaho got a big well, not a big earthquake, but a moderate earthquake today. The USGS said it was a 3.9. Really? Really? Just a 3.9? It's up in Donnelly, Idaho. Let me show you a picture of it. Donnelly, Idaho got hit. Okay? A 3.9 magnitude earthquake. Oh, geez. Oh, look what they did. Sorry, folks, I'll get to it just to have a shake here. I want to show you this. Donnelly, Idaho. This earthquake was about 7 miles south of Donnelly, Idaho. But what you have to, or what you should know about Donnelly, Idaho, it's a tiny town. It's literally a tiny town. It has a population of 152 people, and that is as of the 2010 census. It's a rural community in the county of Valley County, Idaho. The elevation is 4,865 feet off off the ocean sea level. The entire town spans 460 acres. This is just this earthquake, a 3.9, was just south of Donnelly, Idaho. Okay, it rocked the area, and reporters from Pocatello that covered the earthquake said that this earthquake threw snow off of homes. I believe this is probably a larger earthquake than what USGS is saying. I believe it's a larger earthquake than USGS is saying. Of course, we can't trust USGS, and we've proven it. Unfortunately, I feel that is really unfortunate that we can't even trust the people that report the information to us. We have to go and look for bigger information, more information. We can't trust the one agency that's supposed to be the preeminent seismic energy in the world. It's incredible. But this doesn't stop there. Over in Utah, let me show you what happened to a house in Utah as a result of snow. Okay? We keep showing you snow in California, Washington, and Oregon. This is what
scary
happened
wake-up call
there.
for one Morgan County family.
The roof of their home suddenly collapsed overnight. News specialist Shelby Lofton is live now in Morgan County. And Shelby, they still have a lot of snow on the ground there, don't they?
They do, Debbie. The fire department here estimates they have about 4 to 5 feet of snow piled on top of some of these houses. And it's so heavy, it brought down the roof over the heads of a sleeping family.
It's Morgan. Like, we're used to snow. We get lots of it. That this has just been a crazy year.
The people who live here are no strangers to snow.
Yeah, we get 3 or 4 feet of snow, but this year it's easily 6 or 7.
It's so high this year, it's created mini mountains in people's driveways. It's a lot of weight on top of these houses.
They had been hearing, little creaks and groans and sounds.
At 1:30 in the morning, the family who rents this house woke up to the sound of the roof caving in.
It chose right then to collapse. Luckily, it was in the garage area.
It's held up for 50 years, and
Jenny Bober owns it.
This was the year.
Firefighters assessed the damage.
Only the garage area collapsed, but the rest of the house was very damaged by the collapsing roof.
They tried to shut off the utilities.
We wanted to control utilities because trying to, know what a building's going to do.
The deep snow made their job difficult.
Very fortunately, just a very short while ago, we acquired snowshoes for all of our fire trucks.
Just last week, the department purchased and ran drills with the snowshoes.
It really helps us tremendously for speed and for safety.
Chief Brian Brandell said the shoes made this job possible.
The guys went around the rear where they would not have been able to do that because of snow more than waist deep.
Now the tenants are packing up and the homeowners are digging out.
I'm so glad that everybody was safe, that it could have been so much worse.
And when it's this snowy, there's something else you can do to help out firefighters. We've been seeing these signs all over town. Please dig out your fire hydrant. The fire department asks you to create a pathway for them, clear your fire hydrants of all snow so you can give those firefighters quick and easy access to this in times of an emergency. Just taking the time to do that could save someone's life.
Okay, I wanted to show you that part too. If you have a lot of snow in your yards or anywhere where you live, make sure you clear the fire hydrant. That's very important. It's probably the most important thing you can do to save yourselves and to save your neighbors in the event of a fire emergency. Clear those fire hydrants and clear them now. Okay? The fire department needs access to them to put out fires in your neighborhood should that happen. And with all this snow, a collapsing roof could cause a fire. It could snap the electrical lines in your home and you would have a tremendous blaze on your hands. Okay? In order to escape all that misery, you need to be able to get out of the house quickly. without worrying about the snow on your roof and firefighters not being able to either, one, find the fire hydrant or get it hooked up because there's too much snow. So remove that snow away from the fire hydrants. Make a large path around it. Dig out that fire hydrant. Make it clearly visible to everybody. Okay? Now, I've had some people in the chat that have asked me some questions, and I'm going to address it. The number one question that came through that I've been looking at all afternoon and evening is over 21,000. 21,000 unlawful, undocumented people rushed the border today in El Paso. In El Paso at Bridge of the Americas. Folks, that is like a 3-lane bridge in each direction, going from El Paso into Mexico. I've seen pictures of it. I've talked to CBP officers years ago that worked that area. They told me all about it. To have 21,000 people, mostly men, 95% of them were men from the ages of 21 through 35, rushing the border, trying to get access to the United States, but they were stopped. They were stopped. Others tried to find another way to get into the United States, and they may have already done that. But folks, this is getting to be very dangerous. Those people were military-age men trying to gain access to the border. I already know for a fact, from either speaking with or seeing videos from the sheriff's deputies or not the sheriff's deputies, but the sheriffs themselves in Arizona and Texas and New Mexico, telling us what is actually going on and showing identification cards that were left by those that were trying to cross the border, because they did not want anybody to know their true identity once they crossed into the United States. So they either tried to tear their identification cards and passports up and leave them on the Mexican side of the border and then enter the United States, so the U.S. personnel would not know who they were. Sheriffs are finding all kinds. In fact, sheriff's police and border agents are finding all kinds of identification cards from Russia, from China, from Nigeria, from Iran and Iraq. Okay? Identification cards from everywhere. And down in Venezuela, Colombia, Nicaragua, El Salvador, Guatemala. People trying to gain access to the United States. It's not so much the Mexican people anymore. It's people from south and east of Mexico that have come here or trying to come here. We believe that an invasion has started. An invasion has started. I don't know yet because I haven't gotten any confirmation from my military sources. And if there's anybody from the military, I would encourage you to call me and let me know what you know. I won't mention your names or anything, but we need to know what's going on. And I'm going to make some more calls tomorrow to the National Guard. I have sources at the National Guard Bureau. I'm going to find out what's going on. Military-age men rushing the border, trying to gain access to to us. And some of them, we understand, were armed. Now, this happens a lot. When I was down or over in Denver and was speaking with CBP, Customs Border Enforcement, I was talking to Border Patrol. They were telling me that there were people from the Mexican Army. These were military members in military gear, clothing and everything, that were armed. And Customs Border Protection took them into custody, confiscated their weapons, and then Customs Border Protection called the Mexican military in Mexico and had an officer or several officers come to the border and take their soldiers back to Mexico, and refusing to give up the weapons they brought into the United States. There has been armed clashes at the border. It's probably not the first time and will not be the last. Okay? So I wanted to make sure that you understood this as well. A possible armed incursion happened in the border area of El Paso, Texas today, at the Bridge of the Americas. All right. The other issue that people were asking about was the well, now I can't even remember what you guys were asking now. There was one other question that you guys had asked about. Texas lady said they need to shut down that border totally. They won't. I agree, they should shut it down and not open it at all. And anybody tried crossing is stopped by our National Guard. That's how bad things have gotten. Surgery's asking for a wrench on this channel? Absolutely, my friend. Okay? Absolutely. Now Surgery's now a moderator here, and I appreciate what Surgery does. Surgery's been a very dear friend of mine for a lot of years now. Okay? He lives in Utah. Margaret Menifee said a short time ago that she had no sound. I checked, we're broadcasting, and we do have sound. Roy Sorensen says, thank you for your, Ron, thank you for your work, and I appreciate that. Thank you so much for being here. Folks, I also ask you to do this. Check and make sure you're still subscribed to this channel. YouTube has been taking people off their subscription, everybody's subscription list. I don't know why, but they are. They're taking people down. And when I've asked YouTube about it, all YouTube says it's, oh, those are people that have left YouTube. I call bullcrap on it. Okay? That's true. Lady Palm says, hello everybody from Paris, France. Lady Palm, thank you for being with us from Paris. We have people from literally around the world. Before I lost that channel by somebody that hacked into it, we had people from Romania, the Czech Republic. We had people from Afghanistan, believe it or not. Yes, someone from Afghanistan, I believe it was a soldier over in Afghanistan. He says probably left by now. We've had people in Japan. We've had people in Australia. We've had people in South America, Central America, here in the United States, Canada. We've had people in Sweden, Norway, Denmark, and Finland. We have several people from England. We have people from Ireland, Scotland, and Wales. That's wonderful. We appreciate each and every one of you. We have people from the Canary Islands that have been following my program since before we had the incident with La Palma volcano. Or the volcano on La Palma. It wasn't La Palma volcano. But we have people that monitor this program from around the world. This is a very unique situation for us, because we have people that rely specifically for valid information that will help them save their lives. That's why we're here. So friends, we have probably, I want to say, probably 100 people that are watching our program right now. Okay, they say there's 70 people watching. I probably believe there's more like 100, because YouTube has been unreporting or not reporting no valid numbers on people watching our program either. I come to find out after I'm off the air that instead of having 70 or 85 people that watch the program, it's been more like 400 people that have watched the program. And within 24 hours, that number has skyrocketed to almost 800 people that watch the program. So that is also telling me there are people watching this program that have not subscribed. So folks, if you're here, whether you're in the chat or not, please subscribe to this program. It is vital. The information we provide to you on a daily basis is vital for everyone's survival. It's vital that you know about it so you can make decisions for yourselves when it comes to emergencies and disasters. So you can save yourselves and save your family and your friends. That's why this program's here. It's an emergency preparedness program. Yes, we talk about earthquakes. Significantly, we talk about earthquakes. Yes, we do. Yes, we talk about hurricanes. We talk about winter snowfall. We talk about flooding, as you've seen tonight. We talk about illegal immigration. We try not to say illegal immigration, but that's what it amounts to. We have to say undocumented, everything, every other kind of word to avoid being taken down by this platform. It's incredible. But please, people, check your subscriptions. And when you do that, there's something else you need to do. Click on that little bell in the circle there. It's a bell icon. Make sure you click on that bell icon. In doing so, there's a 3-item drop-down menu that will pop up. Click on the word ALL. Click on the top one that says ALL, all. That way you'll get notified when we come on the air. Now someone, I don't remember who it was right now, but they were here and they did not get notified by YouTube when they came on the air. And that happens quite a bit. That happens because YouTube does not even follow its own recommendations, yet they hold us to this guideline policy where if we step outside it, we get smacked upside the head. But folks, please do that. It's to your benefit to get notified when we come on the air. Now, most of the time during the weekdays, Monday through Friday, I'm just giving you a hint. Anytime after 6 p.m. we'll be coming on the air. I try to get it 6 p.m., but if there's a breaking story or new information that I get right at 6, I'm going to pull that information into our program, so I might be after 6, sometimes closer to 7 p.m. But anytime after 6 p.m. to 7 p.m., you can guarantee that we're going to be on the air Monday through Friday. This tonight is a special circumstance. We usually take Saturday and Sunday off, except for Sunday school that we teach at 12 noon on Sundays, 12 noon Eastern time. If you also have not changed your time, please do so. Okay? Last night, there was a daylight savings time change. Okay? It went from standard time to daylight savings time in your areas. So please make sure your clocks and everything have been set correctly. Okay? Right here, right now, it's 10:40 p.m. Eastern time. I'm not going to stay here for very much longer, but I wanted to get this information out. Yeah. Richard Smith says, if Ron was Prime Minister of Canada, the mods would have to be the rest of the government. Oh yeah, isn't that the truth? Richard Smith says, if Ron, yeah, okay, I got that. Roxy Trim says, please everyone smash those thumbs up. Ron does this research for our benefit, showing your appreciation. Yes, please, thumbs up our program. How does that figure into our program? YouTube uses several algorithms to decide whether they're going to let people on YouTube see our program. Number one, thumbs up. They look at thumbs up as a priority, that people want to see us. Number two, they look at the amount of people that watch our program. The number of people that watch our program. Number three, they look at the time elements that are involved when people watch our program. Do they stick around for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes? Right now we're setting records for ourselves on this new channel because we have time elements of 30 minutes now. People are watching our program for 30 minutes at a time. If we have a 2-hour program or 3-hour program like we had last Friday, we got excellent recommendations there. We put out emergency preparedness information Friday evening. We put out emergency preparedness information to the tune of what you need to have in terms of items in your supply kit in case of an emergency. And now what has happened during this weekend, and it's been happening for a while now, heavy rain has hit the California coast. People are having to leave their homes, completely leave their homes because their homes are being flooded out. Are you prepared? Are you prepared to leave your homes? Do you have enough preparedness items with you that you can take with you if you have to evacuate your home? Well, guess what, guys? It's not just heavy rains. Earthquakes can also ruin your day. In case you have to evacuate your home, do you have what it takes to be able to survive an earthquake, rain, flooding? And that's not all, folks. There's more. Yes, there's more. We're starting to come into fire season within the next couple months, and also hurricane season. Yes, folks, people are going to have to evacuate their homes because of heavy wind, rain, and storm surge along the East Coast and the Gulf of Mexico. Fire season in the West is terrible. Fire season in the West is terrible. People have lost their lives. People have tried to evacuate and have actually lost their lives trying to evacuate. But do you have everything you need to take with you in case you have to evacuate? Those are some of the things we talked about on Friday. This next coming Friday is going to be Emergency Preparedness Friday again. But we're going to be very specific about some things you need to look for, some things that you need to do prior to evacuation so you have the necessary information with you when you have to evacuate. So we're going to specifically talk about that this coming Friday. Between now and then, we're going to talk about every kind of emergency that's going on. Yes, oh yes, I know now, I remember now what somebody wanted me to talk about. There was another train derailment today. Yes, a train derailment. Go figure. But this time, there was nothing that was tipped over that was deadly. The train was apparently carrying some alcohol, and the alcohol got onto the ground. Yes, the alcohol can be flammable, but it did not create any clouds. It did not burst into flame. And hazardous materials crews were taking care of that. But yes, another train derailment today. On an average, like we said one day last week, on an average, there's about 1,758 derailments a year. That is at least 3 derailments a day. 3 derailments a day. And lately, we're on a roll. We are really on a roll already this year. Now we've had about 17 derailments since January 1. That's incredible. And we're going to have loss of life in East Palestine. Yes, East Palestine, Ohio. People are going to die from what happened there. And it's a matter of time. It's a clicking time bomb in East Palestine, Ohio. We're not going to ignore that as well. We talk about this kind of stuff all the time on this channel. So folks, we have told you what happened in San Diego. We told you what happened in all over California. We told you that it's happening in Washington and Oregon. And I'll have updates on that tomorrow night. We told you about an earthquake in Idaho. We told you about an incursion of military-age people invading the southern border in El Paso, Texas, and train derailments. We talked about all of this tonight. It's all over the news. We wanted to make sure you knew about it so that you can save your own lives. If this invasion starts and it works, our country is over. Because the people in Washington don't give a flying rat's frosty keister about us. They don't care whether anything else happens. Who else comes here? They don't care. Now, someone else, Renee Steffi, was talking about another bank collapse. Yes, a bank collapsed. Okay, the Silicon Bank, the Silicon Valley Bank collapsed Friday. They closed up shop. They closed up shop. Now, I have additional information. Let me see what I've got written down here in my notes here. There was another bank also that closed today, the New York Signature Bank. The New York Signature Bank closed. Why? Because they were not doing anything for their shareholders, people that actually own the bank. The bank didn't do anything for their shareholders like they should have, and guess what? The bank has collapsed, and that is what's going to continue happening starting tomorrow morning. Other banks are going to collapse. Wells Fargo is on the verge. Wells Fargo's on the verge. Chase Manhattan is on the verge. And that's just two other major banks. If you have money in those banks, you need to get your money out and into a local credit union. Get your money out of these major banks and into a credit union where your money will at least be safer. These major banks are collapsing, and when they do, there's going to be run on the banks, money's going to be gone, and not just that. People are going to be homeless. People are going to lose their homes, they're going to lose their apartments, they're going to lose everything. We thought the aftermath of World War II was bad. We thought before that, when the last time we had a major bank collapse in the 30s, we thought that was bad. Well, guess what? It's going to be worse now. It's not just going to be affecting us here in the United States, it's going to affect the world. Everybody's going to be affected. If you have the ability, get your money out of the major banks. Do it immediately, if not sooner. I'm giving you a heads up. We talked about this last week. Get your money out of the banks. Put it in a local credit union where it will at least be safer. Okay? If you have any doubt about what I'm talking about, Glenn Beck has addressed this quite frequently. And you can find more information on Glenn Beck's YouTube channels. Okay? It's all over. It's all over the place. I'm just giving you a heads up about what's going on. Blackbird says my credit union FT Syl teller didn't even know how to count change. Yes, some of these tellers don't. They don't know much. When they're hired, they're not given much training, unfortunately. People today, guys, children today, our own kids. I know my number 2 daughter. She's in her 30s, and she still has trouble counting change. And yet I taught my kids how to count change when they were kids. I taught them how to count money when they were children, and yet my number 2 daughter also is having problems. Go figure. But they don't teach that kind of stuff in schools. Our kids don't know squat. Unfortunately, let's you and I teach them. And then the schools come on top of us saying, oh, you don't need to teach your kids. We do it. Bull crap. We parents need to take responsibility for our children. We need to talk to them about important things that are going to be important in their lives. Gene Shannon says the Bank of America is another one. Yes, the Bank of America is near collapse as well. It's probably worse than even Chase. And I'll tell you, if you're in there, you need to get out. Richard Smith says the Federal Reserve is going down. Folks, yes, the Federal Reserve is going to bottom out. But the United States of America does not even own the Federal Reserve. Major capitalists own the Federal Reserve. Yes, Biden appointed the chairman of the Federal Reserve. Biden did. Why? I keep wondering that. Because the Federal Reserve isn't a United States conglomerate. They say Federal Reserve, but guess what? It's not even part of our government. Roxy Trim says, buffering Wisconsin. I'm sorry about that. Right now we have a very, very good broadband connection right now. We should be doing fine. It looks like we are doing fine. Anyway, folks, we're going to get out of here. I've kept you a long time now. I'm sorry. But I felt like I had to significantly get on and relay this information for all of you. Again, if something happens tonight, we will be back on the air to tell you about it as soon as the information becomes available. We'll come back here, like I said, tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. or sometime just after 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Until then, guys, I hope you get some rest. You may need it. You may need it. Okay? Gene Shannon says Citibank, Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley. Oh yeah, they're all going to die. They're all going to go away. So everybody, watch what you're doing. Be aware of everything going on around you. I keep telling people that, and they ignore me. But know exactly what's going on around you. Okay? Keep preparing. Keep stocking up on food and water. Don't forget water. Okay? Have a good, yes, another depression is on the horizons. Renee Steppe is asking, is another depression on the horizon? Yes, it is. And it's going to be worse than before. Okay? It's going to be worse than before, ever. So folks, get what you can. It's going to be very, very important. Now guys, I'm going to get out of here. I hope you have a good night and better tomorrow. I love you. I care about you, or I wouldn't even be doing this. It's true. I wouldn't even be doing this if I didn't care. Subscribe to this channel. Click on that bell icon so you get notified when we come on the air. Guys, I hope you have a great night, better tomorrow, like I said. God be with you. God bless you until we can meet again. We will see you on the other side. Good night, everybody. Much love.